Yo, what's going on, everybody? Happy Victory Monday. Man, it feels good. I don't care what week it is, what your record is, or even if you mess up your NFL draft selection in the order that it is damn good to wake up on a Monday with a win. We haven't done it in a while. Surely haven't done it enough this season, so I am going to soak in every single moment of it. I appreciate everybody stopping by as we're going to break down the latest news and rumors surrounding this football team. We'll break down yesterday's win over the Washington Commanders. We'll talk about Tommy DeVito. We'll talk about Saquon Barkley, Kayvon Thibodeau, Dexter Lawrence. And then we're going to look ahead to the NFL draft with the Giants now slotted to pick 5th overall in the 2024 NFL draft. I wanted to do a fresh mock draft and then take a look at about 5 to 10 guys that the Giants could target at the top half of that first round that don't play the quarterback position. So we got a whole bunch of fun stuff and more to jump into, as well as 2 mailbags. But first, let's get the comment section going as we always do on the stream. Let's hit a real one roll call as we already got 110 people in the building. Shout out to everybody. If you haven't yet, hit that thumbs up icon. Show some love. Jesus Diaz, what's good? Scott's in the building. I like Turtle in the building as well. Steven Lopez. Rob Jigga, what up, Rob? Juan Duarte. Angel Ramos. Rosenberry Nolasco. Mark Estrada. Bang! Charlie G. Scott. Christian. Joey DeLuca. What up, Joey? Isaac. Benny Hill says we are only known for beating Washington in our division rival games in the NFC East. But you're known for that. You got to be known for something, brother. Martin in the building. What up, Yoda official? Joey DeLuca. Cameron Johnson. Whole bunch of real ones in the building. Appreciate everybody stopping by. My guy Carl in the building. I'm excited for the game tonight. Knicks Timberwolves. If you want to join us for our watch party over there, it's youtube.com/KnicksTV, or just type in the search bar Knicks Now by Chat Sports. So what do we got to run through right here? All righty. Is it back-to-back? All righty. Shout out to my guy Broken Chip coming in with a super chat. We'll get to all the super chats and more in just a second, but I got to give a huge shout out to today's sponsor, Prize Picks. It's prizepicks.com/CLNS, promo code CLNS. Get started today with playing the #1 daily fantasy sports app in North America. My favorite part about Prize Picks is how easy it is. It's prizepicks.com/CLNS, and you just create a lineup of 2 to 6 players, and you simply just choose more or less on their projected stat total. And if you use the promo code CLNS at prizepicks.com/CLNS, PrizePicks is going to match your initial deposit up to $100, so you'll have $200 in your account to play with. Also, got to give a huge shout out to another big-time sponsor here. That is Game Time, the #1 ticketing app in the world. It is promo code Giants Chat. If you download the Game Time app and you use the promo code Giants Chat, you're going to get $20 off your first purchase. So download the Game Time app today. Use the promo code Giants Chat. It's not just for Giants games. You can go to Knicks games. You can go to Nets games. You can go to concerts. You can go to any sort of event and get your last-minute tickets for the best price guaranteed with Game Time. Download the Game Time app in the App Store and just use that promo code Giants Chat. You're going to get $20 off your first purchase. My guy Broken Chip 710 Jeremy coming in with a $2 super chat says, let's effing go. Go Big Blue. And a win is a win. A win is a win. A win is a win. A win is a win, brother. I'm right there with you. Look, if we got upset on this channel about the Giants winning games they weren't supposed to after we begged for the first 8 weeks of the season for them to win games, I would be miserable and I would not be having a good time up here. So I'm going to enjoy the ride. I'm going to enjoy the win. There's plenty of other games the Giants could potentially lose this season, so I'm going to bask in the ambience of Victory Monday. Shout out to my guy Broken Chip. The best name on YouTube, Leonard Zinnard, in the building. I thought about going quad box today, Leonard Zinnard. One here, one here, one here, one here. But, you know, I have a show to do. Only use the quad box when you have free time. My guy said, yo, if the Giants land around pick 4 to 6, do you think we should trade up for a QB or just draft O-line? By the way, I was at FedEx, and it felt like a home game. Unbelievable that FedEx Stadium didn't have hot water after the game for Tommy DeVito to shower, for any of the Giants to shower in. It's the worst professional sports stadium in all of the world. It's a joke. The whole franchise is a joke. I'm glad you got to go to the game, brother, and see a win. There's nothing like going to a game where you spend your money on it and you actually get to see your team win. Because when you go to a game and your team lose, it pisses you the hell off. It absolutely does. But if the Giants land around pick 4 to 6, do you think we should trade up for a quarterback? Could a quarterback potentially fall in your lap at pick number 4? One, I don't think anyone is trading out of that first spot of the draft if Caleb Williams is going to enter the draft. I also don't think if a quarterback needy team picks at 1 and 2, they're just going to take Maye and they're just going to take Caleb Williams. I don't see them trading down. But could Michael Penix be on the board at pick number 4? Jayden Daniels. Is that too soon for Jayden Daniels? I don't hate the idea of just taking the best player available, whether that be an O-lineman or a receiver. It's going to be interesting, and we're going to be debating it for the next couple of months on this channel. I'm open to any possible outcome, Leonard Zinard. Just get me dogs. The more dogs you have, the faster your team's going to play and the faster your team is going to run. We'll break it down on today's show, though. Mock draft coming up and more. Cameron Johnson with a $2 super chat says, bring back Saquon and draft Xavier Worthy in the second. Well, you might like this mock draft that we're going with here in a little bit, Cam Johnson. Appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate you showing love. We got Nope in the building. Says, Marshall Green, how do you feel about becoming the newest owner of the New York Giants? Am I the newest owner? Is that what we're doing? I'm kind of in on that. I think I could turn this football team around, Seeps. I think if I'm the owner of the Giants, I can make shit happen.
I don't know if I trust you. I don't know if I trust Marsh, guys. I don't know. Because he might roll with this guy as the franchise QB the way he's been talking
Why would you not roll with Tommy DeVito as your franchise QB?
Hey, I would. Draft Marvin Harrison. Give him a guy. That's
what, Johnson, you said last week.
JU, I'm with you.
I mean, you look at the live poll in the chat right now. I told you guys to pick a quarterback. Tommy DeVito, Daniel Jones, Michael Penix, or Bo Nix. Tommy DeVito is winning the vote by 22%.
As he should.
Over Daniel Jones?
Oh, yeah.
It's DeVito over Jones. Is that where we've gone?
That's where I'm at.
What did you see yesterday that you liked?
The dog.
This dog out there?
The dog. The backyard football. I felt like the guys rallied around him.
Did they play hard for DeVito?
I think they did.
Someone had a quote that I was on defense. I don't remember who it was. They said, we felt like with DeVito out there on offense that the offense would strike if Washington struck us. Bobby Okereke was the quote. Is the team rallying around the Italian stallion?
That's also so natural when you put in the backup quarterback. Everybody's like, all right, we got to up our game. Like, that's just natural. But
9 sacks.
And he put up those numbers.
I remember there was a lot of people in this chat that told me there was no way Seeps that a rookie quarterback could succeed behind this line. And they even mentioned he's going to be sacked like 9 times a game. Well, Tommy DeVito's a rookie. He was undrafted, and he was sacked 9 times, and he threw 3 tutties for 250 yards.
I'm a fan. I thought he looked good yesterday. He looked good in the preseason, too.
I will say this. Went back and watched some tape this morning. If Caleb Williams was the quarterback yesterday for the Giants, he throws for 5 touchdowns and 450 yards.
Really?
There were just so many people that were wide open yesterday that DeVito just kind of didn't see. And that's okay. But,
yeah, I'm starting to be a big, you have to take Caleb Williams if you get the number 1 overall pick.
I think so, too.
Like, I think you have to.
I agree. Shout out to Tommy DeVito, though. A lot of people played good for the defense yesterday as well. 6 turnovers forced by this defense. Yep. Kayvon Thibodeau had 2 sacks, now sitting at 10.5 sacks on the season. And I had the stat earlier. Let me actually go to my Twitter so I can pull that one up. Kayvon Thibodeau is one of 3 players to have 10 sacks over the first 11 games of a season within their first 2 years of the NFL. TJ Watt in 2018 had 10 sacks. Micah Parsons in 2022 had 10 sacks. Kayvon Thibodeau has 10.5 sacks in 2023. The Giants may have one of the best edge rushers in the NFL. But I also want to quickly talk about Saquon Barkley here, Seeps. I think his first 5 carries, he had -7 rushing yards.
Yeah, it was bad.
Did the game that Saquon had yesterday, where he showed he could be a threat on the ground and in the passing game, up his value potentially in the eyes of the New York Giants? Because, look, think about it. I don't know if there's another running back outside of maybe Christian McCaffrey that could have did what Saquon Barkley did yesterday.
Yeah, I just don't know. Like, again, it's going to come down to price tag. Would the Giants give him, 10 a year? I don't know if they would. Like, because what type of deal is he? I feel like we're going to have the same conversation that we did last season.
You are.
Like,
we're going to do it all over again. We're going to do it all over again.
Yeah,
It was at least cool to see them get him involved in the passing game.
You saw why he's a top 5 back again yesterday.
Yeah.
Like, you were reminded who he is.
Agreed. He played really, really good, man. Kayvon played good. Dexter Lawrence played good. Jason Pinnock made a couple of plays. I thought Xavier McKinney may have had his best game of the season. Bobby Okereke forced 2 fumbles. Micah McFadden was all over the field. Jihad Ward had a sack. Even Darius Slayton got in on the action. Left the game with an arm injury. Still TBD on that front. I'm assuming it's not all that serious. And I've been kind of critical of Darius Slayton. I don't think he's worth the $7 million that he would cost the Giants next year on the cap sheet. I would move on from him. But you kind of saw on that touchdown yesterday, he just caught the ball and kind of just stutter stepped, act like he was going to cut inside. The DB had to respect the speed. He was then caught in mud, and then Slayton just beat him in a foot race to the pylon. Something that kind of stood out to me was, yes, Tommy DeVito was sacked a lot, but when he had time, he was trying to take shots downfield.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, the Giants receiving core, Slayton's a hell of a 2 over 3. If you would get that one, if you would get that Marvin Harrison, that T. Higgins, I think the weapons on the Giants offense are just a couple, 1 or 2 pieces away from being like, oh shit, they actually have a very good group around their quarterback. Because he's still a franchise left tackle. Waller's kind of a question mark.
John Michael Schmitz, I'm kind of sold on him being your center of the future. It was just fun yesterday to see a complete team and really both sides of the ball play well.
Yeah.
What I did like, though, was DeVito on 3rd downs, 7 of 8 on the day. Kafka was awesome. I know I had a tweet where I said he hasn't been able to create separation, and everyone got up in arms about that. I honestly just meant that nothing is ever easy for this offense. Used a bad choice of words, is what it be, but it looked easy yesterday for the Giants offense for a large part of that game. My guy MG coming in with a $10 super chat. Best initials in the game. Shout out to Mike G. Says, happy DeVito Victory Monday, brother. What's the big name free agent the Giants need to sign? Need your bold prediction a few months in advance. A guy that I'm really starting to watch a lot closer, and a guy that I'm looking at is the interior offensive lineman Evan Brown from the Seattle Seahawks. He right now, I believe, let me double check on this and see how he played yesterday. I haven't got to check out that game. But Evan Brown, we did a free agent target video last week on the channel for this upcoming free agency cycle. Go and check that out. But right now, Evan Brown's playing a good season. And I think he's going to be a good player. He's going to be a free agent. I like him. If you want to go the receiver route, maybe you could look at a guy like T. Higgins. Are the Bengals going to bring him back? Maybe if you're looking for an edge rusher, you take a look at Daniil Hunter. Can't be franchise tagged by the Vikings. Maybe a Connor Williams, the interior offensive lineman from the Miami Dolphins. There's a couple of guys that I'm definitely going to be looking at. Giants could have up to $60 million in cap space. I don't want them to go on a Dave Gettleman type of spending spree, but I do think you could pick up 1, 2, maybe 3 starters heading into next season. We got 2 mailbags coming up on today's video. If you want to be featured on the mailbags, go ahead and super chat. That'll guarantee your spot on the line, or just ask your question down below using hashtag Giants. I want to see all the real ones getting their questions in today. We got to do 2 mailbags. 2 mailbags today. I want to get to everybody's question. Hashtag Giants in the comment section. Just include that in your comment. We'll pop it up on screen. We'll talk about it. I want to see Bryce and Ronnie and Yuli and Nope and D-Money and Angel and Mark Estrada and all the real ones getting their questions in. That would be Carl. Get your question in, brother. I need everyone to get their questions in today. If you haven't yet, please hit that thumbs up icon. We got 180 people watching, only 42 likes. We're not starting the show till we get to 69 likes. If we get to 69 likes, I'm going to take a shot of this Patron. Let's ride. We're not starting the show until we get to 69 likes. With 180 people watching, that should be easy work. That should be light work. That should be crazy work. Hit that thumbs up icon. Once we get to 69 likes, I'll take this shot of Patron. Cam Johnson coming in. Is Jayden Daniels the best QB in the draft? I would say no. I would say no, he's not the best QB in the draft. I still have Caleb Williams. I call him Caleb Maye at this point. Caleb Williams and Drake Maye neck and neck. I'll go Caleb Williams slightly ahead of Drake Maye. There's a little bust potential, I think, with Caleb Williams that Drake Maye doesn't have. But I think you can make the argument that Jayden Daniels is 3. I personally have him 4. I got Michael Penix at 3. But look, the way he's playing, man, he's got a lot of people watching him down in Louisiana. Shout out to you guys. 70 likes. Let's get into it. Coming up on today's video, we're going to run through a 2-round mock draft on today's video. Last week, we did a mock draft where the Giants had the number 2 overall pick. But since the Giants were able to defeat the Washington Commanders, the Giants have now slid back to the 5th overall pick, which really changes the outlook of the draft, in my opinion. Reminder, the Giants have 3 picks inside those first 2 rounds, thanks to the Leonard Williams trade. And now the current draft order looks like so. The Chicago Bears own that first pick via the Carolina Panthers. The Arizona Cardinals are right now number 2. New England Patriots sitting at 3. The Giants play the Patriots this week. So maybe if the Giants lose to the Patriots, if you're in that camp, you want them to lose games, they could potentially hop back in to that top 3. Got the Bears at 4 with the New York Football Giants at 5. So we ran through our mock draft simulator here at Chat Sports. And with the number 1 pick in the draft, the Chicago Bears selected the quarterback Drake Maye out of North Carolina. Look, I understand that some people will say, Marshall, this draft, no way, Caleb Williams isn't going to win number 1. Well, he ends up actually going number 2 to the Arizona Cardinals in this draft. I do think if the draft board were to fall as it does with the Bears and the Cardinals picking at the top 2, I could see a trade happening where a team leapfrogs into the top 2 to select their guy, but this is how it fell out in our mock draft simulator. Then the New England Patriots and Bill Belichick were on the clock, and Joe Alt, the standout offensive tackle out of Notre Dame, is right now selected to go to New England. And then you got Marvin Harrison Jr. going to the Chicago Bears. So the guys off the board when the Giants are on the clock at pick number 5. You got Drake Maye, Caleb Williams, Joe Alt, Marvin Harrison Jr. Some other players that were still on the board. You still had really good offensive tackle out of Penn State. You still got a lot of the top quarterbacks with Michael Penix, Bo Nix, Jayden Daniels. And you're looking at a guy like Brock Bowers and the standout receiver from Washington. Look, there's a lot of ways you could go. But I honestly think the Giants are going to draft a quarterback in the first round. And I think the 3 guys that you would be looking at if you did hold the 5th pick and the draft board fell out the way it does, I think you're looking at Michael Penix. I think you're looking at Bo Nix. I think you're looking at Jayden Daniels. All play the position a little bit differently. Michael Penix, in my opinion, is more polished than either of these 2 guys. I just like the winning culture that he has, the mindset and the swag that he brings. Just feels like a gamer. Bo Nix, very talented player. High-rated prospect coming out of high school. Bounced around in college football, but this year for the Oregon Ducks, he's looking like an absolute beast, completing 78% of his passes, over 3,500 yards with 35 touchdowns, just 2 INTs. He makes a lot of smart decisions. He has a lot of experience. I think that's really benefiting him as he is an older prospect. And then Jayden Daniels. Some people are saying he's the next Lamar Jackson in the sense of don't overlook the tape. Don't overlook the splash plays. All he does is make big plays. And what do you have? 8 touchdowns this past weekend for LSU. The kid is special. But if I was the general manager and the Giants were picking 5 and these 3 guys were on the board, give me Michael Penix Jr., the quarterback for Washington. When I watched that game this weekend for Washington, it had upset potential written all over it. And Michael Penix had an opportunity. Someone fumbled that game away in the second half. It was coming down to the wire, but I just love the way he stepped up. I love the moxie that he has. I love the swag that he has. The ability to win from in the pocket and outside the pocket, and the ability to always, when he's making, I would say, creating time for himself behind the line of scrimmage, his eyes are downfield. I think he has a great touch. I think he can layer the football really well. Maybe not an A-plus arm strength, but I've seen him make some terrific throws, and I think he's a guy that you could build a franchise around. I just love the gamesmanship. I love the fact that the dude can get it done with his feet, with his arm. I think he's a gamer. I think he's a competitive. And I think he looked pretty damn good in Giants blue. And I would fully be excited if he was the next quarterback for the New York Giants. I'm going to go with Michael Penix Jr., but I'll let you guys make the pick right here. If the draft board fell the way it did, like we showed you, and these were the 3 quarterbacks on the board when pick number 5 was in, who would you take? Is it Michael Penix? Is it Bo Nix? Is it Jayden Daniels? I want to hear from you down in the comment section. We'll get to the other 2 picks the Giants have in round 2, but first, I got to give a huge shout out to our proud sponsor, Game Time, the #1 ticketing app in the game. And if you use the promo code GIANTSCHAT, you're going to get $20 off your first purchase. It's the best seats and lowest prices guaranteed. What I love is that prices drop as the event gets closer. It's also the lowest prices guaranteed. It's easy to use, and I love that when you're looking at the tickets to buy, you get a view of the seat. Redeem the code GIANTSCHAT, and you're going to get $20 off your first purchase. NFL, NBA, college football, college basketball, concerts, theater events, and more are the type of events that you can get tickets for on Game Time. Game Time, the best ticketing app in the game. It's promo code GIANTSCHAT, $20 off. So the Giants are on the clock once again at pick number 37. And I'm going to go with the saying that I always say, invest in your investments. You walk away with Michael Penix in the first round. Now let's go get him a dog. Let's go get him a game changer on the outside. And I have the Giants selecting the speedy big play wide receiver out of the University of Texas, Xavier Worthy. When he is on the outside and he has one-on-one coverage, he is a threat to take the top off the defense. He's also a guy, when he has the ball in his hands, he's one of the best in college at just creating yak. He could break tackles. He gets north and south. He's a guy that continues to improve as a route runner. Year over year at Texas, he's become a better route runner, and now in one-on-one situations, he can almost get open and win at any time. He comes in at 6'1", a little bit slighter of a guy, just 172 pounds, but man, oh man, is he a burner. He's projected to run a 4.2 40. How many times have we heard Brian Dable and Joe Schoen that we want to get this football team faster? We want to have generators with the football in their hands on the outside. You have him, Hyatt, Slayton, Waller, hopefully another free agent. That's going to be a whole lot of speed. And also, who's a first-team Big 12 punt returner in 2022. We know how the punt returner position is shaken out for the Giants before Gunnar Olszewski. I wouldn't mind having a guy back there that could go the distance anytime he touches it. I'm going to get an offensive player to go alongside Penix to help him out and grow. Hopefully they form a dynamic duo. But I'm going to go back and invest in my investment again. With the second selection that the Giants have in round 2, slide to be pick number 54, thanks to the Seattle Seahawks, I'm going to go with interior offensive lineman Cooper Beebe. Plays tackle, but he is projected to slot in as an interior offensive lineman in the National Football League. And we know those offensive linemen from Kansas State, they are mean and nasty, and he can get the best of people when he gets his hands on them. Dane Brugler of The Athletic, the #1 draft analyst in the game, in my opinion, said this about Beebe. What he does best, heavy hands at contact. Despite his lack of length when it comes to arms, only 31.5 inches, Beebe is able to keep rushers from his body because of the power in his hands. He consistently gets movements on down blocks and peppers defenders as a pass blocker, creating knockback and holding his ground. Beebe's aggressive mentality matches his physical hands. In this clip against Texas Tech, Beebe, number 50 at left guard, uses technically strong aiming points and heavy, insistent hands to halt the 3 technique defensive tackle and put him on his back. His competitive nature and controlled, powerful hands were a consistent theme on his 2022 film. Look, the Giants have to improve the offensive line. Once again, gave up 9 sacks this past week to the Washington Commanders. And while I actually do think the offensive line is improving, partially due to the fact that they're becoming more healthy and just becoming more cohesive as a unit, the Giants just have to upgrade the talent level at that position. I don't know if I can trust Evan Neal to be a starter on this team next year. Maybe you select a right tackle at the top of round 2 and then get that receiver at the end of round 2. But whatever it is, the Giants have to improve on the offensive line. It's 10 years running. Let's go get it right. Draft BB, draft someone in the top 3 picks, and go sign someone as well, and then let's go to battle. I drafted Michael Penix with pick number 5, Xavier Worthy with pick number 37, and Cooper Beebe the interior offensive lineman with pick number 3. So you get a quarterback, you get a playmaker, and you get an interior offensive lineman. Grade Marshall's mock draft. I want you guys to be mean and honest with me. Grade it for me. A, B, C, D, or F. I want to hear from all of you down in the comment section. As always, if you think I'm an idiot and you want to yell at me over on Twitter, go ahead and do so. Hit me up at @MarshallGreen_. I'm just starting to watch more and more content or draft prospect highlights and film and all of that stuff. And I want to be able to dive into it more and more and talk with you guys about it. So let's do it over on Twitter at @MarshallGreen_. I truly do believe, though, Seeps, if you can walk away with an elite receiver, a top quarterback, and an interior offensive lineman in those first 3 picks, man, all in the top 55, that's 3 starters, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, if this is the draft you get, you're taking this any day of the week. I do think Xavier Worthy's probably going to shoot up.
Yeah.
Boards. I feel like those speed guys always end up like, you always see a dude taking a risk on him, like a Jameson Williams or, yeah.
No, I could see it. I
love Cooper Beebe, though. Good name.
I'm a big BB guy. Him and John Michael Schmitz, Andrew Thomas, kind of the foundational piece off your offensive line. Hopefully a guy like Evan Neal comes around. But I don't think the Giants can go into the season and saying, Evan Neal's the only right tackle we're going to invest in this year.
And also a guy like Michael Penix, you're going to need to put dogs around him.
Yeah.
Like, he's not the quarterback where it's like the Williams and Maye where they can overcome. Penix is more of a guy like, if you got dogs around him, he'll kind of elevate the whole
offense. Are you
offense.
Penix, Bo Nix, or Jayden Daniels?
Dude, I didn't know Bo Nix is throwing for 38 touchdowns, 2 picks this year.
His efficiency has been crazy. He looks like a 24-year-old playing against 20-year-olds, though.
Yeah, well, I looked up how old he was because obviously
I think he's 24.
He's 23.
23, going to be 24 soon.
Yeah. I mean, but Penix is old. Penix was at Indiana for...
Is he 23 as well?
Might be 24.
Michael Penix.
He's 23, birthday May 8th. And then Bo Nix, 23.
So they're the same age.
Yeah, February 25th birthday.
So he's a couple months older.
Yeah, a couple months older.
I don't know. I can't get the Auburn film of Bo Nix out of my head.
Yeah, see, like, for me, I can't get the Indiana film. He was terrible at Indiana. But now at Washington, it's like,
he makes plays.
I know.
You're a Jayden Daniels guy, though.
Not really. He's a little too light in the hips.
Too light in the hips?
Like, Lamar, at least, like, so I'm a big thick neck guy. If you're a skinny quarterback, you got to have a thick neck. He has a skinny neck. No, it's kind of a chop take, but I just feel like he would have injury written all over him.
Mo No says, hey, Marshall, the Giants are not going to be picking in the top 5 because they're going to win 5 of their last 6 games. I agree. They're going to win every game the rest of the season. But you know what? Right now, they're selected number 5 overall. So I thought we'd do a mock draft for everybody out there. All right. There's been a lot of talk, Seeps, with the Giants selecting a quarterback in the first round.
It's been a lot of chatter.
And Gilly in the chat says no need for a QB. The Italian Stallion is the franchise.
He is.
So let's say Tommy DeVito is going to be the franchise quarterback for the Giants.
Okay.
Let's talk about guys the Giants could select in the first round, not at the quarterback position. Because if you're going to roll with Tommy DeVito, which the Giants will not and should not, you're going to need to get a lot of talent on this team.
Yeah, definitely are.
So we're going to go through a couple of players that the Giants could look to frickin' draft in the first round, not at the quarterback position. Not at the QB position. So, once Seeps is ready, we'll dive into it.
Let's do it.
We'll dive into it. We got 200 people watching. If you haven't yet, please hit that thumbs up icon for me. We got 200 people watching, only 89 likes. Can we get up to 120 likes? Can we get up to 120 likes? Can we get to 120 likes? 120 likes. 120 likes. All righty. Seeps, who's your favorite non-QB in the draft? Outside of Marvin Harrison Jr. Because that's the easy chalk answer.
Well, mine's chalk, too. I think it's Brock Bowers. Dude, I just watching him play, dude, it is like I'm watching Gronk Jr. I love him. But also, I don't want to spoil it.
You're a Joe Alt guy.
I don't want to spoil it.
All righty, let's dive into it. Giants, draft targets that don't play quarterback. Let's roll. Coming up on today's show, we're going to take a look at some Giants draft targets that don't play the quarterback position. We've talked a lot about the quarterbacks the Giants could take in round one, but maybe they aren't going to draft a quarterback. So let's talk about some players they could look at. I want to ask you first, though, what is the Giants' biggest need outside of the quarterback position? I want to hear from all of you watching right now. Yo, what's going on, everybody? You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. Appreciate everybody stopping by as we're going to take a look at about 5 to 10 prospects the Giants could select at the top of the first round if they don't go the quarterback position. The Giants currently hold the number 5 pick in the NFL draft after they defeated the Washington Commanders 31-19 over the weekend. Who knows when the Giants are going to end up picking in this draft? They do play the New England Patriots this week, who currently own pick number 3 in the NFL draft. I think it was 2, but I'm going to say 3. I'm pretty sure it's pick number 3. Maybe the Giants lose to the Patriots get another win, and they flip-flop. A lot of talk about the quarterbacks. Let's talk about some players they could look at that don't play the QB position. In my opinion, the number 1 player in this draft, no matter the position, if I had to bet on any player to enter this draft and be a star, it's going to be Marvin Harrison Jr., the 6'4" wide receiver out of Ohio State. In this instance, you just trust your eyes. You trust your eyes. The film does not lie with Marvin Harrison Jr. He can do absolutely everything you want and need from a wide receiver. He can play outside. He can go deep. He can go get a jump ball. On 3rd and 12, he can run a stop route and create separation. He can get loose with the ball in his hands on a slant route. Play inside, play outside, deep threat, short threat. Generator with the football in his hands, and he also has a really good ability to dominate in that kind of 12 to 18-yard distance on the field. He's a special player, and I think he already might be a top 25 wide receiver in the world. I think when he plays and starts in the NFL, people are going to look at him as a top 10 guy. That's how special this guy is. Prototypical size, man. 6'4", 205 pounds, and in the 37 games he's played at Ohio State, 150 grabs, 2,500 yards, 16.6 yards per catch, and 30 touchdowns. Look, if you want to roll with Tommy DeVito or Daniel Jones as your quarterback, getting him, a guy like this to throw to, that could really change the dynamic of this offense. So I'll ask you, should the Giants draft Marvin Harrison Jr.? Maybe we have our guy at quarterback. I don't believe we do, with all due respect to Tommy DeVito, but man, sometimes you just got to go best player available, and he might be the most for sure fire thing in this draft. Type D for draft, type P for pass. If you want to improve the offensive line, Olu Fashanu, the offensive tackle out of Penn State, in my opinion, is the number 1 offensive lineman in this draft. You could go with Joe Alt of Notre Dame, or you could go with the offensive tackle out of Georgia, but Fashanu, in my opinion, is going to be a dominant player in the National Football League. 0 sacks allowed in 1,300 career pass block snaps. He's got the perfect frame. 6'6", 320 pounds. Patrick Seaman said, Marshall, isn't this just Evan Neal all over again? And I said, 1, I hope not. As Yuli in the chat says, bro, look like Evan Neal. I hope he's not Evan Neal. I don't think he's going to be. Why? Because of these reasons. He maintains balance like a pro. When I've gone and I've watched back Evan Neal tape while he's been at the Giants, I feel like he has a bad core. I feel like he has bad balance. I feel like he gets pushed off his spot a little bit easier. Fashanu was a top basketball prospect and a basketball prospect in high school. I feel like he's got good feet. I feel like he's got good balance. And I think he just plays with good pad level and good overall stability. He's got massive arms and good wingspan. He plays his best and biggest matchups. And a down thing, if there was one, I want him to be a little bit more nasty. I want him to have a little bit more dog in him. Be a little bit more of the bully. Be a little bit more of that junkyard dog. But overall, man, it's not just me. Everyone is saying he's the number one prospect. Even Dane Brugler of The Athletic, he says this: Fashanu is still learning the position and dealt with an injury last season, but his physical profile has no holes. He's nearly impossible to knock over because his recovery and balance are at the top of his class. Huge difference from Evan Neal. And they would have been last year, too, had he entered the draft in 2022. His lateral quickness at his size is also elite. Ask Seattle Seahawks draft pick and former Auburn defender Derek Hall about that. He saw it firsthand during a blowout at Penn State win last September. The Giants have to improve the offensive line. They absolutely do. 9 more sacks allowed yesterday by this offensive line. They got Daniel Jones hurt, they got Tyrod Taylor hurt, and they've already had Tommy DeVito hit more times than he can even count. My question is this: can you rely on Evan Neal again? Fashanu is going to play offensive tackle in this league. Can you go into another season with the only true investment at your right tackle position being Evan Neal? I know he's still young. I know he's barely played over a season worth of games. I don't think I can go into next season with Evan Neal being my starting right tackle and my only right tackle that I have invested in any sort of fashion. Fashanu is special, man. He's a good player, and the Giants got to improve that O-line because, man, oh, man, I'm tired of talking about this freaking O-line. Go get a dog and let's go to work. We're going to break down a couple more prospects coming up, but if you're looking for free Giants videos every single day on the latest Giants news and rumors, hit that subscribe button right now. No matter what the record is, no matter where we're at in the season or off season, we're going to get free Giants videos every single day for the real ones out there. So subscribe, help us get to 40,000 subscribers. Coming up next, 3 more draft targets I think the Giants should look at if they're not going to go quarterback, and I'll give you some bonus guys at the end. But first, I got to give a huge shout out to today's sponsor and the brand that makes this hoodie that I'm in love with, Marine Layer. Go to marinelayer.com/chatsports. Use the promo code chatsports, and you're going to get 15% off your order. It's marinelayer.com/chatsports, 15% off. My favorite thing about Marine Layer is this. Look, I have a hoodie, I've got a polo, sports polo, and I have a plain blue t-shirt. No matter how many times I wear it, no matter how many times I wash and dry it, when I put it on, it still feels brand new. It still holds that brand new quality. This is the vintage heavy sub hoodie in India ink. You could check it out. It's one of the hoodies that will keep you warm, I would say, when it's a little bit chilly, but also keep you airy when it's a little bit hot. It's the vintage heavy slub hoodie in India ink. They've got all sorts of gear, the best t-shirts, the best hoodies. I'm a huge fan of Marine Layer, and it's a great gift to get somebody for the holiday season. And you can also save a little bit of money while doing so by using the link marinelayer.com/chatsports. It's marinelayer.com/chatsports. Another top player in this draft, now you might say, Marshall, we don't need a tight end. You know what the Giants need? They need damn good football players. And Brock Bowers may be the most for sure player entering this draft outside of Marvin Harrison, the tight end out of Georgia. The Giants are almost dead last in every single offensive category. And I know it's the offensive line. I know it's the backup quarterbacks. But how about we just make it easy? Go get Brock Bowers. I also believe that Bowers and Darren Waller can coexist. Who's to say that Brian Dable can't run a 2 tight end offense? Who's to say that Bowers isn't a little bit of a slot receiver? Who's to say Darren Waller can't spread out outside and you have Bowers on the field as well? I've seen Bowers get it done for so long. In 39 career games, the guy has 170 grabs for 2,500 yards, 15 yards per catch, 26 touchdowns, and 5 rushing TDs. I know his profile says tight end, but the dude's just a football player. He's a big playmaker, and he's a guy that is a walking mismatch for any team in this league. Too big and too strong to be guarded by safeties and corners. Too fast, too agile, and too good of a route runner to be guarded by tight ends. Giants just need more offensive playmakers. And if they're looking for a good one, Brock Bowers may be that guy. What if you want to look at the edge rusher position? Want to add more fuel and more gas to this defensive line? Dallas Turner is the number 1 edge rusher in this class, in my opinion. 6'4", 240 pounds. He's got an elite first step. I'm sure he'll test as a 4'5", 4'6" guy when it comes to the 40-yard dash. Can't wait to see his 3-cone drill. The dude pops on tape. And in 35 games, he's got 19.5 sacks. And he comes from Bama. I know Bama, Evan Neal, blah, 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 blah. this dude's going to be a for sure thing in the National Football League. Dean Brugler of The Athletic, best draft guy in the business, says this about him. When it comes to rushing the passer, Turner checks the boxes for both traits and production. He is explosive off the ball and into contact, and he plays with exceptional pursuit speed to chase down the football. Turner is currently the only player ranked top 5 nationally in sacks, pressures, pass rush win rate, and pass rush win percentage. You don't just need playmakers on offense. The Giants need defensive playmakers too. And if you could have a front 5 that includes Kayvon Thibodeau, Dexter Lawrence, and Dallas Turner, yeah, sign me up. The more guys that can help you get pressure on the opposing quarterback when you only have to send 4 guys is only going to make your corners look better. It's only going to make your safeties look better. And I think Dallas Turner is the guy that could change a defense. And him alongside Kayvon Thibodeau on the edges with big, nasty number 97, sexy Dexy in the trenches, I'm pretty cool with that pick. Maybe you're picking at number 6 or number 7. And Marvin Harrison Jr. is off the board. But you still want to draft a wide receiver. A guy that I have fallen in love with when I watch his tape is the 6'4" wide receiver out of Florida State, Keon Coleman. The dude is just a baller. Plays on the outside, elite in 50-50 balls. I feel like his route tree is a little bit slept on. Just a big-time player that makes big-time grabs. And he's got top-end speed to where he can run away from people. He checks all the boxes of what you look for in a wide receiver. And Dane Brugler of The Athletic echoes what I'm saying and even compares him to a guy he's an all-time great, man. Dane Brugler said, with his size and speed and athleticism and acrobatic ball skills, Coleman, 38 catches for 538 yards and 9 touchdowns, is a freakish talent with the chance to be a dominant player. His flashes remind me of how Demaryius Thomas played when he was at Georgia Tech. He's tough to tackle when he gets the ball in his hands. He can push it vertically, he can get open, and he can make catches at a catch point that not a lot of people can. I've used this word 1,000 times. I'll use it again. Playmakers, playmakers, playmakers. The more of those you have, the harder you're going to be to stop. The Giants have been pretty easy to stop on offense over the past couple of years. I wouldn't mind drafting a receiver in the top 10, especially if it's Coleman or Marvin Harrison Jr. Other players that I think the Giants could consider if they don't go the quarterback position inside the top 10 if they do pick there. Joe Alt, he may be your type of offensive lineman. He's really good. I like the guy at Penn State a little bit more, but Joe Alt's also, I think, in my opinion, going to be a really, really good offensive lineman. Latu, the edge rusher out of UCLA, people are comparing him to Jalen Phillips for the Miami Dolphins. Really strong, really athletic, injury riddled a little bit, but the guy is special. Nate Wiggins popped off the tape for me this weekend playing against North Carolina. Dude ran like 80 yards on a run play to go punch out the ball from the North Carolina ball carrier. He can cover. He's 6'2", an elite corner. What about J.C. Latham, another offensive tackle from Alabama? Chop Robinson, the edge from Penn State. And I also like Malik Neighbors, the playmaker, the receiver out of LSU. A lot of good players in this draft. Giants can't afford to miss on this pick. So I'll ask you to be the GM and let me know a player you want the Giants to draft. Give me their name down in the comment section. Let's go non-QB. Non-QB you want to see the Giants draft. Let me know. As always, just want to say thank you, and I appreciate you for tuning in to Giants Now by Chat Sports. If you want to continue the conversation, I'm always down. Just hit me up on Twitter at @MarshallGreen_. There's no way a guy with the name of Chop Robinson can be a bust. Chop Robinson is an elite football name.
And that's a good edge name.
Yeah.
I like it for an edge.
Look,
I'm a fan.
Look, if you don't go quarterback, there's a lot of players that are going to be really good in this league.
Oh, this is a good draft. I like it.
Can you afford to not take a quarterback, though?
That is the question. I think you can if it's not one of the dudes, one of the top 2 guys.
Maybe you trade back into the first round, go get Jayden Daniels.
Yeah, just put some pressure behind DJ.
Maybe
you can go the Jalen Hurts, Carson Wentz route.
Yeah.
So you get a dude in the second where it's like, hey, we kind of like you, we kind of don't. Wentz plays bad.
Gives us an easy card to go to if you struggle again.
Yeah, and it kind of – also, I'm a big believer in this. You draft a dude in the second round, DJ's going to feel that.
Yeah.
DJ's going to be like, all right, I need to give this everything I have, and I'm not saying he doesn't already, but just adds a little extra motivation for him.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's going to be an interesting couple of months as we try to break down the draft from every single angle on this channel. We are going to get into a mailbag, maybe 2, if the questions are good enough. But we need you guys to get your questions in. Just drop a comment down in the comment section and just include hashtag Giants. That way we can pop it up on screen. How are we looking over there, Seeps?
Decent. Could use a little more help from the real ones, but we're looking all right.
A lot of real ones in the chat today. Appreciate you stopping by. Little Bulldozer says, I don't know, Boogie Basham is terrible. Yeah, he's not good. Not good. Giants need to improve the edge rusher talent. You can't. I know we love Azeez Ojulari, and when he's played, he's been productive. But anytime you start a statement with when he's played,
yeah.
Sometimes the best availability, sometimes the best ability is availability. And for Azeez Ojulari, I wish he was a little bit more available. All righty, get your questions in. Hashtag Giants. Shout out to Patrick Clark. Leonard Zinard. Let's ride.
Great question, Leonard Zinard.
All righty. Hashtag Giants or Super Chats. All Super Chats. We'll get your question up on screen. Prize Picks. Cool. All right, let's dive into it. Yo, what's going on, everybody? We're about to get into a mailbag on today's video as you're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. If we didn't get to your question today, it's your own fault. It means you're not subscribed. So change it. Hit that big red sub button right now. Subscribe to the #1 Giants YouTube channel there is, most watched show on YouTube, and help us get to 40,000 subs. We would greatly, greatly appreciate it. First question coming in from my dude, #1 name on YouTube. Leonard Zinard says, yo, if the Giants land around pick 4 to 6, do you think we should trade up for a quarterback or just draft the offensive line? By the way, I was at FedEx and it felt like it was a home game. That's good stuff. Nothing like going to a Giants game and they actually win. All right, if the Giants land around pick 4 to 6, do you think we should trade up for a QB? I think it comes down to this. 1, are the teams picking at 1 and 2 going to draft a quarterback? Because if they are, they're not trading out of that pick, right? 2, what's the cost? And 3, do you love a quarterback enough to have the juice to trade those picks? Because it's going to cost you multiple first-round picks. Multiple first-round picks and maybe even a good player. Look at what Carolina had to give up to get to #1. Multiple first-round picks and DJ Moore. He's pretty much an all-pro receiver. You only trade up if you're in love with either K.O. Williams or Drake Maye. Can you get a guy like Michael Penix at 4? Jayden Daniels at 4? Bo Nix at 4? Those reaches at 4. We're going to find out over the next couple of months. But I'm not going to be mad if you take the offensive tackle out of Penn State or if you take Joe Alt out of Notre Dame with that pick. So I think everyone watching this show right now would agree. The Giants have to get better on the offensive line. And if you're in the spot to do that, you might just have to make that pick. Appreciate the question, Brody. Yuli says, do we go first-round Penix, second-round big receiver like A.J. Brown? I mean, look, yeah, if you draft a quarterback, I do want you to draft another wide receiver. And there's a bunch of good receivers that are going to be available in that second round. We talked about Xavier Worthy on our mock draft. I love the guys out of Washington if they fall there. There's a lot of good receivers. There's always good receivers you can find. And I do think it's a good idea to pair a rookie receiver with a young quarterback, have them grow together, become more on the same page, and kind of be your go-to duo as they progress as Giants. I wouldn't mind taking Michael Penix in the first round. 2 picks in the second round. I think you got to go quarterback, offensive lineman, and receiver with those first 3 picks. Wouldn't mind an edge rusher either, but that would just my opinion. I'll ask for your opinion right now. Name a player you want the Giants to draft. Give me a name. Give me a name you guys want to see Joe Schoen select in this upcoming draft. Give me your thoughts down below. D-Money. We call you D-Murder. What up, D-Murder? How does rookie TDV compare to a rookie DJ? How does a rookie Tommy DeVito compare to a rookie DJ? Well, Daniel Jones is more of that prototypical quarterback, right? in the sense of 6'5", 230 pounds. Daniel Jones is more athletic as well. I mean, even in that first game that DJ won against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers when he came from behind, he won the game on a QB draw. I honestly think everything at the quarterback position, Daniel Jones does better than Tommy DeVito. I know we're happy with Tommy DeVito and the way he played, but I think that we should just lower our expectations a little bit. It was Washington after all. They're not a good football team. And the Giants have had their number, winning 3 out of the last 4, and that fourth one being a tie. I was encouraged by what I saw from DeVito, but I also think that if Daniel Jones plays that game, he might have thrown for 5 touchdowns. There were guys wide open he didn't hit. Thought he held onto the ball a little bit too long at times. I like that because he's trying to make plays downfield. He looked like a rookie quarterback. Thought he was all right. Nothing special, though, in my opinion. Thought he was good. None to write home about, and he's not the franchise QB. Steven Lopez says, what do you think the Giants' record will be this year? It's a good question. Got the schedule right now. You're currently sitting at 3-8. You got the Patriots. You got the Packers. You got the Saints. You got the Rams. And you got the Eagles twice. So I'm going to say you're going to lose to the Eagles twice. Get you to 3-10. I think you lose to the Saints. Get you to 3-11. And then maybe you win 1 out of 3 against the Patriots, Green Bay, and Rams. Let's go 4-13. I'm going to say 4-13. I see the Giants winning 1 more game this season. I'll go 4-13. D-Money, back again on the DeVito. So should we let Tommy develop for the rest of the season and start him next season and keep DJ as the backup and draft O-line? Look, I think at this point, you gotta look at what's coming up. Tyrod Taylor is going to be off the injured reserve list December 11th and potentially be able to play Monday night against the Green Bay Packers following the bye. Who gives you a better chance to win? Tyrod Taylor or Tommy DeVito? I think the Giants are going to roll with the guy that gives them the best chance to win. In my opinion, it's Tyrod Taylor. I understand the idea of letting DeVito be that guy. Maybe DeVito goes and lights it up against the Patriots. We're having a different conversation. Let's see what he does against New England, then we can come back to this, D-Money. Before we get to more questions, I got to give a huge shout-out to today's sponsor, Prize Picks, the #1 daily fantasy sports app in North America. It's prizepicks.com/CLNS, and if you use that promo code CLNS, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. My favorite part about Prize Picks is how easy it is. All you do is create a lineup of 2 to 6 players, and you just choose more or less on their projected stat total. The more players you have in your lineup, the higher your payout will be. It's prizepicks.com/CLNS, promo code CLNS. I'll make sure to get all the info and make it clickable down in the comments and description of today's video. prizepicks.com/CLNS. We got Cam Johnson coming in with a $2 super chat. Cam, appreciate you, Brody. Says, is Jayden Daniels the best QB in the draft? Best QB in the draft? No. I have Caleb Williams here. I have Drake Maye here. They're neck and neck, and I'd be happy if the Giants were to get either one of them. But now with them not picking in the top 2, that obviously lessens the likelihood of that. Jayden Daniels, I'm going to say no. I'm going to have him as my 4th rated quarterback. I have Michael Penix at 3. I got Jayden Daniels at 4. And I guess we got to go with Bo Nix at 5, man. He continues to impress. He continues to improve. Only 2 interceptions this year. Makes all the right decisions. Kind of gives me Mitch Trubisky vibes, though. I'd say no. But what if the Giants really fall in love with Jayden Daniels? And he's there at pick number 28. Do we trade into the first round to get him? It's going to be a whole lot of fun throughout this draft process. I know that. I'm a fan of Jayden Daniels. I can't take him inside the top 5, though. At least not right now. Mike G, what up, Brody? Happy DeVito Victory Monday, brother. What's the big name free agent the Giants need to sign in your bold prediction a few months in advance? So we actually did a 2024 free agent targets for the New York Giants last week. And I'm going to pull up my list of the players that I did have in that video. We'll run through those quickly. We talked about the wide receiver position. Some of the top wide receivers that are going to be available potentially include T. Higgins, the wide receiver from the Cincinnati Bengals. You're going to like Mike Evans, Calvin Ridley, Marquise Brown, Michael Pittman Jr., Tyler Boyd, Gabe Davis, KJ Osborne, Josh Reynolds, Kendrick Bourne, maybe a guy like Odell Beckham. On the offensive line, you're looking at Robert Hunt, Evan Brown, Dalton Reisner, Jonah Williams, Connor Williams, Maybe you want to go edge rusher, a guy like Brian Burns, Daniil Hunter, Josh Allen. There's a lot of good players heading in free agency. I want to see them sign an offensive lineman, and I want to see them sign a veteran edge rusher. That's my opinion. Could have potentially $60 million to spend. I'll ask you this. If you were the general manager of the Giants, what's your first move you make? If you are the general manager of the New York Giants, if you got to take Joe Schoen's job for a day, what's the first move you would make as the general manager? Let me know what you think down below. Pokemore, what up, brother? Do you think we will need to get a QB if we pick top 5? Tommy did good yesterday, but let's be honest, it was the Commanders. 100% agree. What Tommy DeVito did yesterday has not changed my thought process at all when it comes to the future of the Giants at the quarterback position. Cool story, a lot of fun. Enjoyed watching him play football. Enjoyed watching him win a football game for the New York Giants. But what he did yesterday, and I don't know if there's anything he could do for the remainder of the season that changes my viewpoint on what the Giants need to do. The Giants are picking inside that top 5, top 6, top 7. I think they have to get a quarterback. I do. Just my opinion. As always, just want to say thank you and appreciate you for tuning in. If you haven't yet, give me a follow over on Twitter at @MarshallGreen_. Let's go Big Blue.
What would be your first move?
What would be my first move?
First move.
First move. As in, like, let's say after the season I'm hired as GM.
Yeah, whatever you want. You could be scouting a guy, you could be cutting a guy, you could be signing a guy, trading for a guy, telling him a guy.
I'm finding our next quarterback.
Find the next QB?
I'm finding the next QB.
All right. Non-QB related.
I'm gonna clear up some cap space.
Clear up some cap.
I'm gonna cut Mark Lewinsky, and I'm probably gonna cut Darius Slayton.
Okay.
Save you about $15 million in cap space, and then use that money to go sign a starting guard in this league. I misspoke earlier in the show. I said my number 1 free agent target was Evan Brown. I lied. It's Robert Hunt. It's Robert Hunt, the offensive lineman. He's a dog.
And Tuto came in during with
No way.
Swear to God.
Robert Hunt, the guard for the Miami Dolphins, he's pretty good. Pretty good at football, man. When you talk about Dolphins, give me a second, PFF. Robert Hunt right now, Seeps, he is rated as, he's actually hurt now, so brutal. I like him, though. I like him. He was rated as the ninth right guard in football last week, but he's hurt now, so there's that. Tuto Azuri back in the chat. My guy's a real one. Always tuning in, always showing up. What up, Tuto? Says massive salutes and respects to Big Boss Marshy and all the diehards, all the Giants fans in America. Congrats on the W yesterday against the Skins losers. Greetings from our entire rugby club. How's the season going, man? Are you still hurt? Are you back from injury? I sure would love to put Tuto at edge.
Yeah.
Tuto, Kayvon Thibodeau, Dexter Lawrence.
I like that.
Who's stopping them?
Nobody.
Nobody. Who's stopping them? Nobody. Seeps, do we have questions for one more mailbag?
Yeah. There's pretty all.
It's pretty all?
It's pretty much like the same vibe.
So we need some new, better questions.
Yeah, I mean, what's a vibe we want for this mailbag?
That one was pretty draft and DeVito heavy.
Yeah, that's what most of them are.
I understand that. I don't know.
Yeah, like that, like.
We're going to do this. What did that one say? I don't even know. We're going to put on a timer for 2 minutes. 2 minutes. If we don't get 10 more questions in 2 minutes, we're out.
Okay.
Because we got to get ready for Knicks. The Knicks play tonight. We're going to be live on the channel in about an hour. And we need to eat dinner. So hashtag Giants to get your question in. Maybe let's talk a little trading, a little free agency.
Hey. Daniil Hunter.
Trading in free agency. We've
T.
done a lot of
Higgins.
draft. We've done a lot of Tommy DeVito. I don't think DeVito is your franchise QB. CJ says basketball is not important. Well, it pays my salary, so kind of important. Jake Schmidt, you got to include hashtag Giants in there. Hashtag Giants.
Talk about like the coaches getting fired.
Seeps, who would you say is your most slept on in the draft?
Slept on? I'd say probably Keon Coleman, dude.
Dude, I love
Like-
Keon Coleman as well.
I'm shocked he's not getting more top 10 buzz.
I'm a big fan of Keon
Or
Coleman.
freaking Rome, dude.
Is that how you say his last name?
Rome of Dunes?
Yeah,
Dunes or something?
dude from Washington.
Rome's tough, dude. JJ? JJ's got no whip.
He's got no whip.
Got no whip.
Yeah, I think he does spin it, to be honest. That like 8 to 15 yard range, he can dice it up.
I mean, he does put on. I just
Kind of reminds me of Daniel Jones. I told you that.
Yeah. Smaller DJ.
Yo Holmes, I love that question. Just put no space in between the hashtag and Giants. Yo Holmes, if you could just include that. Or Seeps could just be a baller and put it on there with another layer that just says Giants. But that's it. My guy Tuto Missouri coming in with a $5 super chat. Shout out to him. Leonard Zinnard says quad box for the Knicks game. Dude, I would be
Quad box
buzzing.
for the Knicks.
I would be buzzing. I don't think I could do that.
Oh shit, that'd be hilarious.
Shout out to Tuto says, Marshy, I've been activated since August 21st. Been on national team duty. Got suspended 2 matches for beating up our DC. And we're 6-6 as we speak. I want this dude to be a Giant so
Dude,
bad.
I do. I want to be a Viking.
Tuto Missouri, man. You are a legend, my brother. You are a legend. I'm glad you're back and healthy. Maybe don't beat up your DC, and maybe you just beat up the other team.
Well, what if he was asking for it?
Honestly, did he deserve it?
What
Do you
is-
think he deserved? Or do you feel sorry about it?
Where are you protecting your honor?
Do you regret it? If you regret it, then maybe.
If he regrets it, he'll learn from it. He'll
Yeah.
learn from it.
There's only 2 things you could do: learn or grow from it.
Learn and grow.
No such thing as a loss. No thing is a loss.
Leonard Zinner, that's wild. That's wild.
He kind of stunk.
He was good until
Those 2 throws to Hawk on the game-winning drive.
Yeah.
You got
I mean,
to put that on him.
put him. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, Kirk Cousins puts that right there. That's 8 yards out
Yep.
of bounds. Another 8
Yep.
out of bounds. Like,
I thought he was trying to do too much in the pocket in that last drive.
well, so I was watching film breakdown. A lot of his magical plays, dude, he'll just miss dudes, and he'll just try to make something happen.
Really?
Like, yeah, it's a little. Where it's like a guy like Cousins doesn't have those wild plays, but he just takes a right read right away.
All right, Seeps, what do you think? Did the questions meet the criteria? Try to switch them up if you can. That one guy had a really good question. He
I
just
got
didn't.
it.
Okay. Let's do it. Let's do it. Last chance to get on the mailbag. If you super chat, you jump to the front. If you want to get your question in, drop a comment below and use hashtag Giants as we dive into it. Coming up on the channel today, we're just going to answer questions from subscribers. And if you want to be featured on the next New York Giants Now mailbag, get subscribed. Questions from subs only. And we're trying to get to 40,000 subscribers. If you're looking for free Giants content every single day, subscribe right now. Yo, Holmes. Hi, you thought I was going to say, yo, what up, everybody? Didn't you? My guy, Yo Holmes, coming in with a comment. Question. What's up, Brody? Says, do you trust general manager Joe Schoen to rebuild this team? He already screwed up. Why? That is, in my opinion, one of the best questions that we have got on this channel, Yo Holmes. There's not many general managers in this league that get to pay a quarterback $92 million and then just 6 months later want to move on from that guy and select a new guy. Because if you don't think that Joe Schoen is going to have to win over John Mara, if you don't think that John Mara wants to draft John Mayer does not want to draft a quarterback. He loves Daniel Jones. And Joe Schoen is going to have to convince John Mara that, A, I'm the right guy to find the quarterback even though I overpaid Daniel Jones. Am I worried that he said that he thought Daniel Jones can win a Super Bowl? Yeah, that's a little bit worrisome. Am I worried that he paid him $92 million? Yeah, that's a little bit worrisome. But let's go glass half full here. Glass half full. He hit on Kayvon Thibodeau. He looks like a pretty good player to me. 10.5 sacks this year. He hit on Micah McFadden late in the draft. He looks like a good player to me. I think Jalen Hyatt is going to be one of the best receivers in the NFL for a long, long time. Hit on him in the 3rd round. John Michael Schmitz looks pretty good. Daniel Bellinger looks pretty good. Deontay Banks looks pretty good. Cordell Flott looks pretty good. Bobby Okereke looks pretty good. Darren Waller was coming along. He's made some good moves, but do the bad moves. And really the only bad move he made, in my opinion, was paying Daniel Jones. I believe him. I think he's smart. I love the trades he made. And the Giants are going to fire him. I'm going to say yes, we should believe in him. Kind of wild, though, because he definitely messed up on Daniel Jones. And I think a lot of people were wrong on Daniel Jones. We'll see what he does this offseason, Yo Holmes. That's a good question. I'll ask the chat. Do you guys believe in Joe Schoen? Type Y for yes. Type N for no. Let me know what you think. Jaden Fitch, what up, brother? We need to sign O-line no matter what it costs, and the rest of the money sign another offensive lineman. You talk about some of the top O-linemen coming up in NFL free agency. Connor Williams, Jonah Williams, Dalton Reisner, Evan Brown, Robert Hunt. The Giants need to sign a veteran offensive lineman. I agree with you, Jaden Fitch. Entering in the NFL free agency cycle, the Giants are going to have roughly $47.6 million, but still have top free agents to sign like Barkley, McKinney, Adoree Jackson, Tyrod Taylor, Isaiah Simmons, Ashawn Robinson, Jahad Ward, and Ben Bredesen. They can create, though, another $15 million cap space by cutting Glowinski, Darius Slayton, and Aaron Robinson. Not sure if they make all those moves, but it's definitely possible. Agreed. Giants need to go sign an offensive lineman. And if there's one guy I want, it's Robert Hunt, the interior offensive lineman for the Miami Dolphins. Really good player. I think it's slotted as your starting right guard or left guard, whichever one you want. I'll ask you this question. What is the biggest need this offseason? Jayden thinks they got to go sign an offensive lineman. Is it O-line? Is it quarterback? Is it receiver? What is the Giants' biggest need this offensive lineman? Maybe it's edge rusher. I want to hear from you down below. Zach Vela says, could we trade Thomas for a top pick and an above-average tackle to replace him? Trade Andrew Thomas? No. No. You do not trade Andrew Thomas. I can't believe I have to say that. No, you don't trade Andrew Thomas. You just gave him a massive contract, and he showed consistently that he is a top 5 offensive lineman in this league. Did the hamstring injury hurt? Yes. But man, oh man, no, you don't trade him. Not at all. You know how much money you would hurt if you traded him? It would put this team in, it would hurt this team so bad, Zach. I understand the thought process, get a top pick and above average tackle to replace him. We used a top pick on Evan Neal. He didn't come out and be any good. Eric Flowers, we used a top pick on. He wasn't any good. Hell no, you don't trade him. No. Zach says he's not on our timeline. Well, you just gave a massive deal, and he's only 24 years old. So, yes, I would say he's on your timeline. Could not disagree more, brother. Jay Sports Cards says, why are we not seeing more Jalen Hyatt? So I'm actually going to go and look at Jalen Hyatt's snap count here. So give me a second. Yesterday, there was a couple of plays where Jalen Hyatt was open downfield, and Tommy DeVito did not get in the football. The prior 2 games, we saw him throw under throws on deep routes that Jalen Hyatt would have had touchdowns on. But he underthrew him. Yesterday, he played in 24 receiving snaps. That would have been first, second, third, fourth, fifth, the 6th most snaps of the season for Jalen Hyatt. I think it just comes down to the circumstance the Giants offense is working with. I think he's going to be a good football player. I don't think there's a lot of corners that can guard him one-on-one on a vertical route. I haven't seen it really yet. Do I want to see him play more? Yes. But with the circumstances that the Giants are kind of having to battle with right now, backup quarterbacks, as well as the offensive line, I'm not going to be too upset with the lack of usage, but I do want to see him involved a little bit more. I think he's a special player, and I'm happy that he's a Giant. We're pretty lucky. We'll get to more questions coming up in a second, but first, if you go to prizepicks.com/CLNS, put $100 in your account, they'll match it with $100. What is Prize Picks? It's the #1 daily fantasy sports app in North America. It's the easiest and most fun way to play daily fantasy. It's daily fantasy made easy. All you have to do is create a lineup of 2 to 6 players and just choose more or less on the stat total that Prize Picks has projected for said player. 2 to 6 players. The more players you have, the higher your payout and multiplier is going to be. They also have all these fun deals. Friday specials, Taco Tuesday specials, discounted player stat projections. It's the only way that I play daily fantasy, and it even makes the boring games that much more fun. prizepicks.com/CLNS, promo code CLNS. That link will be clickable down in the comments and description of today's video. White Lotus, what's going on, brother? Says, how many turnovers would Daniel Jones have had after being sacked 9 times? When was the last time DJ had 6+ passes of 20+ yards in a game? I think Daniel Jones would have done better than Tommy DeVito yesterday. Last time Daniel Jones had 6+ passes of 20+ yards might have been that playoff game against the Minnesota Vikings. Look, let's not overreact to Tommy DeVito. Please. I know it's easy. I know it's fun. And it was a lot of fun watching him play yesterday. But I think if Daniel Jones played yesterday, the Giants could have had 500 passing yards and potentially 5 touchdowns. He missed Saquon Barkley on a 4th down on a wheel route. He missed Darius Slayton on a 4th down on an underneath route. Underthrew Jalen Hyatt one time. Had Hyatt deep one time. Tommy DeVito was also responsible for like 5 of those sacks. I respect it, holding the ball, trying to make a play, but I'm not saying DeVito's bad. It's Washington. Let's relax. Little Bulldozer says, why won't you even acknowledge Daniel Jones coming back and starting next year as a possibility? I think I have. I do think there's a possibility that Daniel Jones comes back and is a starter next year. I don't think it's that high of a possibility. I think it's going to be dependent on how you finish out this season. Let's say you don't win another game this year and you're picking 3rd overall. You're going to draft a rookie quarterback, and they're probably going to start game 1. Let's say you win 2 or 3 games the rest of the season, and you then pick 8th, 9th, or 10th. Maybe Daniel Jones does come back as your starter. But I'll say this. For me, personally, I cannot rely on a quarterback who has missed 8 games due to a neck injury over the last 3 years and is now coming off a torn ACL. I just can't. I don't think it's responsible. Just like I can't go into the season with right tackle Evan Neal as my only right tackle and only investment I had there. Is there a possibility? Yes, little bulldozer. I just don't think it's that possible. As always, just want to say thank you, and I appreciate you for tuning in. If I didn't get to your question, hit me up on Twitter, @MarshallGreen_. We could chop it up over there. Tuto, back again. Marshy, our former DC, was responsible for 4 of our losses. I've warned him a few times to change lineups and schemes so he wouldn't listen. Hey, if you're not going to listen, make him listen. I'm with you, Tuto. I'm glad that you got the best of him. I'm sorry you got suspended. Sometimes it costs to be the boss. And I think you showed everybody who you were over there, my man. Ryan Brogan says, I say we can't see Caleb Williams, Drake Maye, or Marvin Harrison Jr. We trade down. Depends on where we are get draft capital and scoop up a top of the line, only if we are not getting those 3. I don't have a problem with that thought process at all, Ryan. If you can't get a top 3 player in this draft, go and fill the biggest position in need. I will also lump, though, Michael Penix in there. I'm a Penix guy. When I just watch him, I just get winning. I just get a winning vibe. I get a winning culture. I get a gamer. I see a guy that will do anything it takes to win. And a guy that personally hates losing. I see a team rally around him. I see him as a leader. I'm not going to be mad if the Giants take an offensive lineman in the top 10. Giants need to improve that offensive line. Maybe they do it. Not so sure. We'll find out, though. All righty. We're going to sign off on today's stream. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Awesome viewership. Awesome participation. Jay Sports Card says, should Saquon be extended? What's the price? What is the price? I kind of lean towards yes. Now. Changing my mind every day on that subject. As always, though, thank you. See you later. If you want to tune in our Knicks stream tonight, it's Knicks Now by Chat Sports. Serious Wasp coming in with a $5 super chat says, what's the deal with Aaron Robinson? Seemed like he has been on the PUP list forever. If I don't know. I don't know. I've reached out to a couple people. He's just hurt. I wish I had a better answer for you. Even I'm concerned, and I'm in the blue. I'm in the dark on that one. All righty, we're gonna sign off. Purple Phoenix is 15 mil is fair for Saquon. I'm not paying him $15 million. Not a chance in hell. I think you franchise tag him again. That's my take. We'll see you later, though. Go Big Blue. Tune in tonight. Knicks Now.